everybody for coming. It's been a wild ride of a year, and part of me thinks that John knew what he was doing retiring in 2019, but I know better. So I'm not going to stand up here and summarize John's contribution to this organization. I don't think we have the time for that. But I do want to just make note of how significant of a contribution he's made to this community. This trail took years and years and years of hard work by many, many people. Each section sort of has its own story, has its own set of circumstances, and its unique set of individuals who made that section a reality. But John was there through all of it. He was, sometimes in the driver's seat, sometimes just doing organizational work. But he was there the whole time, and that is a huge, huge deal for us. Today we're here as a community to just say thank you. Some are here in person, and for obvious reasons, some are just here in spirit and have let me know that they wish they could be here to thank you themselves. But you've endured years and years of sacrifice, both personally. Your family is here, and they also have made sacrifices along the way in some pretty major ways. And there's been frustration, I'm sure. And there's been, out of all of that is born this wonderful trail. So thank you from this larger community and the hundreds of people that use this trail on a daily basis. So, with that in mind, we had something made for you. It's twofold. One is, I know you're going to bike by this often, and I want it to remind you that we're thankful for all of the hard work over the last 30 years that you've done. But also it's for us to remind us that stuff like this doesn't happen without a lot of passion and hard work behind it. So, with that, I also would like to offer this past year as a gift of gratitude to you as well, because as most of you probably already know, we've made some huge headway on the trail this year. I know, John, it was your wish to be able to get all of this finished before you retired, but things just moved more slowly than probably anticipated. But one of the good things to come out of 2020 is the fact that we've broken ground on not one, but both remaining gaps in the trail. And yeah. And it's our goal to have the whole thing completed as you envisioned by 2022. So, again, thank you so much for your years of hard work. And we're honored to be able to take this last leg of the marathon you've run and take it across the finish line. Mandy, if you want to come up and say a couple of words before we let John Mishler talk about this statue.
Well, I'm the proud daughter. Dad, when I think of the amount of time and energy that you have given to this project, the time and energy that you donated to our community over 3 decades, it makes me very proud. I have often joked that the pumpkin vine is like my brother because you've put as much time into nurturing the trail as you would have put into raising another child. But the truth is you've probably given the trail even more, because a child leaves home after 18 years and you've been working on the trail for 30. For many years, your trail work was like a second full-time job. And because you were willing to give of your time and energy in this way, our community has a linear park that will be here for generations. You have a rare set of gifts. Not only did you have the vision for what the trail could be, but you had the ability to tend to the many details that needed to be tended along the way. You have legendary patience and perseverance. Legendary. And we have seen those gifts at play in this project as well. You were also patient with me as a kid when I was learning to play the violin, but this is a whole other level of patience. You held the vision and kept moving things forward, piece by piece. I'm also proud of how you forged relationships with different people throughout this process. Sorry, the wind is really getting to my eyes. The integrity with which you operated allowed you to build trust in those encounters over years, which made this possible. Again, I'm so proud of you and where you have chosen to give your time and energy over the past 30 years so that our community could have this beautiful resource. But more than being proud, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that the trail is here for me and my family and for our whole community. This trail makes us all better people. We are healthier physically and emotionally and spiritually because of the trail. The trail is a gift whose impact cannot be fully quantified. But those of us who have spent time out here walking, biking, birding, looking at wildflowers, running, we all know that what I'm saying is true. Our lives are better because of our time on the trail. So thank you for this gift. We truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Mandy. John Mishler, if you wouldn't mind just saying a few words about your design for the sculpture. If you want to come up here, we've got a camera.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're fine.
I just wanted to say it's a real honor to have made this sculpture honoring the pumpkin vine and John Yoder. I first met John Yoder when he was doing continuing education at Goshen College, and I taught a wood carving class. And I think that led to my being hired to teach sculpture at Goshen College, which I continue to do today. It takes me a while to come up with my designs, but then I got thinking pumpkin vine. So the sculpture part reminds me of a pumpkin vine. Am I turned right?
You're good.
And then we have a kinetic element up on top that suggests wheels at the end of it. And I was worried there wouldn't be wind today. Well, there's plenty of wind, which is good. And you can see how it turns through that. One part looks like it's going to hit, but it doesn't. And then the bench. I've never done a sculpture and a bench together. And I've never done a bench with a back on it. So this is new for me. But then the back of the bench suggests a bicycle too with the wheels. And the way I textured it, Roger Miller, who couldn't be here today, really liked the way I texture the metal, combining it with the paint. So that's what I was thinking about when I made it. But I think it was a great honor to make this and be in this location. It used to be I did a lot of sculptures in other parts of the country. Now I'm doing it more in this area, and that's really gratifying to me. So congratulations, John. And there's a plaque here. Does someone want to read that?
Yeah.
I'm not really good at reading.
No, you're good. So this plaque says, In honor of John D. Yoder's 30 years of volunteer service, President, Friends of the Pumpkin Vine Nature Trail, 1989 to 2019. As one of the organization's 5 founding members, John's dream was to turn an abandoned railroad bed into a multi-use path. The trail, he thought, would provide a safe place of respite and reflection for walkers, runners, and cyclists, while also bringing communities and people together. The trail we have today is due in large part to John's persistence and collaborative leadership. Thank you, John, for the gift of your service and the beauty of your vision.
The plaque will be mounted next to the sculpture. That will be done in the near future.
John, I'll invite you up here to say a few words.
Well, thank you all for coming. This is an event I could never imagine when we started 30 years ago. One of those things that, beyond my imagination. But I want to thank the board, the present board, Brittany, for conceiving of this idea. I think, like Mandy said, it's something that can remind us all of the effort that went into this. And there were so many important people. You know, I thought of an analogy. You know, on a November Saturday, you think of football, and you think of a football team. A football team is a team sport. You may have a quarterback, but the quarterback is only part of the team. Without that blocking line in front, the quarterback is going to be on his back during the game. Well, I may have been like the quarterback at times, but it was the board members who helped and supported me in so many important ways. I think particularly of Larry Neff over here, who showed us what a good government should be like, partnering with nonprofits. He was wonderful as superintendent and director of Elkhart County Parks. I couldn't say enough positive things about Larry. And then over here, yes, is Bob Carrico, who has spent, I would say, probably as many hours on the trail as I have, as board secretary, webmaster, trail manager, I'm missing something else, bike ride, organizer, and worker. Absolutely fantastic. As you walk down the trail back to the County Road 26, you'll see cracks in the trail that are tarred over. That's Bob Carrico. Every year he does that to make the trail safe and smooth. So those are 2 of the examples of the people. Yeah. 2 examples of the people who have been so important in this project. So I want to thank them, and also all the supporters who contributed to the trail when we had so little to show. We had 10 years with no trail, and they kept continuing to support us financially. Finally, we got something to show. But, you know, it's really rather amazing this community was able to support this for all those years with very little to show. So thank you very much to everyone who contributed to this project. And John, your sculptures are something I always have admired, and I really appreciate the fact that the board chose you to do this. I think it's unique, it's outstanding, it's eye-catching, and it's something that we can all be very proud of as part of this community. So thank you very much for that. So I finally want to thank my wife, June. As Mandy said, she spent many hours at home while I was in board meetings or at conferences or somewhere, but she has always been tremendously supportive, and this would not have happened without her. And to Mandy, John, Noah, and Anna, equally thankful for your wonderful support. So that's all I have to say. It's been great. It's been a great time. People ask me, was it worth the effort? And when I see all the people going up and down and having such a good time, I say, yes, it was worth the effort. I'm very grateful that we were able to do this.
Fun.